Welcome to another edition of Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, and today's game is a Commodore 64 game that combines two of my greatest loves, roller coasters and computer games. So it's Rollercoaster Rumbler. So yeah, I'm a big fan of roller coasters and theme parks, go to a lot of theme parks throughout the year. Recently went to Sweden and visited two of the big amusement parks there, and also the Zoo Commodore, which has got some roller coasters, and rode my 300th coaster. So yeah, really racking up the coaster credits, as we call them, in the enthusiast community. So let's take a look at the fact file for this game. Rollercoaster Rumbler was released in 1989. It's a European game, published by Tynesoft and developed by Subway Software. Now this is quite a rare game. I had an eBay saved search looking for it for quite a number of months before a copy finally showed up, and the price I paid for it was £7.05. And the going rate for the game, well, there haven't been any copies sold on eBay recently, but there are two copies there up for sale and they're both asking £10 or more. So here we go then, Rollercoaster Rumbler, a potentially interesting game that combines two of my biggest hobbies. Let's check it out and see how it plays. So as always, let's start by taking a look at the packaging for the game, and I don't know what's going on this cover. Obviously, firstly you can see it says Rollercoaster Rumbler at the top, got the Tynesoft logo bottom right there, and then the image on the front, well, they just threw everything at this. Literally, you've got a roller coaster on a kind of spacey sort of track, you've got Tron-like grids in the background there with kind of Tempest style vector spaceships there as well. There's things rolling down the tracks there, and also in the background there you've got Tetris pieces by the looks of it. So really they just threw a bit of every game they could think of into this cover to make it attractive, I guess. So moving on to the spine, that just says Rollercoaster Rumbler on it, and on the back pretty bland in comparison. So we've got the Rollercoaster Rumbler header again, and then a screenshot which you can see you've got a roller coaster and also some kind of first person view there, and it says, afraid of dizzying heights, queasy at the thought of plunging 100 feet in just seconds, warning, Rollercoaster Rumbler is only for the totally radical rumbler. Oh dear. This truly amazing game is like nothing you've ever seen before. Encounter the ultimate challenge. You dip and weave, turn and climb while simultaneously trying to shoot moving targets before you get ejected from your seat. Realistic graphics make you think you're on an actual roller coaster. Okay, we'll see. Compete against a computer or pair it with a fellow player to shoot targets and double your chances of winning. You've got to play it to believe it. Wow, okay, they're really bigging this up. Incredibly lifelike action and sound effects. Yep, okay, if you say so. Single or multiplayer options. Choice of roller coaster or monorail ride, but only on the PC, so we won't be seeing the monorail. But then, who wants to ride a monorail when you can ride a roller coaster? So there we go. That's interesting to say the least. So, quick look at the tape. Pretty boring. Blue text on a very plain grey tape. That's it. So let's move on to the instructions, which are pretty simplistic. There's not a lot in this inlay. So it's got the loading instructions, the controls. On loading you'll be presented with an option screen with some options. We'll go through those when it's loaded up. Having made your selection on the option screen, select Start Game to continue. Makes sense. Game screen split into two window views of the action. Using these windows, move the cursor around the screen with the joystick. Press the fire button to unleash a barrage of bullets at the moving targets. Your gun will be replenished with bullets on successful hitting of a target. The more targets hit, the more bullets will be awarded. Sounds fair enough. Once a level is completed, a code name will be given to allow you to proceed to the next level, each level becoming progressively more difficult. At the start of each level, your gun will be replenished with bullets. If you run out of bullets, then the challenge is over. So on the disc version, players may select any level. Well, I haven't got the disc version, so the tape version, players can only move on to the next levels and not go back to the previous level. So I'm guessing this is going to be a multi-load then, but we'll soon find out. So midway through loading, this screen's appeared. It's not actually a loading screen to speak of because it says press any key to load at the bottom, so loading's actually stopped while this is loaded up. That's kind of annoying, but it is a very nicely drawn screen with the roller coaster in the foreground there and an amusement park in the background. Looks like it's by the seaside, I think that's supposed to be. And as you can see, it says Tynesoft presents Rollercoaster Rumbler. It's got music and designed by Subway Software at the bottom there. So yeah, there's some background music as well, so that's nice presentation. Not really a fan of the fact that you have to now press a key to load, because if you left this loading while you went to have your tea or something like that when you were a kid, you'd be a bit annoyed to find it's only halfway loaded, but it is very nicely presented. But anyway, let's press any key to load and carry on loading. So the game's now loading. As you can see in the bottom left, it says that, and you've got the loading bars, and you do still get the screen while it's loading. So it is a loading screen after all, you just don't get the music. Right then, so as you can see, the game is loaded, and here is the title screen. It's pretty bland considering how nice that loading screen was. It just says Rollercoaster Rumbler at the top. There's no credits, there's no music, There's no animation or scrolling messages or anything like that. It's just a bunch of options. So the options are you can play 1 player or 2 players. Obviously I'm just going to play 1 player. You can view the high scores. Go on then, let's have a look at them. There they are. And you can't choose a level because I'm only on level 1 because I haven't played any of the other levels. You do get passwords, I think, to access the later levels. You can switch between daytime and nighttime. That's quite a cool feature. Let's go for nighttime to start with, and then you can start the game. So let's start the game and take a look at this. Well, let's take a look at it. So here we are, we're in the dark on a roller coaster. At the top we've got the roller coaster going around the track, which is quite nicely done, and at the bottom you've got a first person view with the crosshairs, and you've just got to shoot all the well, things that come on the screen. So it's like a carnival shooting game, I suppose, kind of thing, on a roller coaster. And I've run out of ammo, and that's game over, and I just wanted to show what the nighttime looked like because we're going to go to daytime now and try and play it properly. So yeah, basically you keep shooting stuff. Every time you shoot something, you get points, and also your ammo kind of replenishes, but if you miss stuff, then eventually your ammo runs out and it's game over. So I got my name in, so yay. So let's switch to daytime and try and give this a more serious go. I think daytime's better. It looks nicer. So yeah. So I mean, what can you say about it? It's a very simplistic game. None of the enemies shoot at you, so all you've got to do is shoot at them, destroy them, and make sure you don't run out of ammo. So you know, I mean, I have to say it moves at quite a nice speed. The first person view and also the sort of overhead view both move quite nicely. Some good work done with the programming. Gameplay wise, it's a bit lacking, it has to be said. Oh, I've run out of ammo again. I guess I'm going to be having another go then. I obviously wasn't paying attention very well there. I was just firing. The key is basically to only fire when you're sure you're going to hit something, and not when you're not. Basically, I suppose, is one way to describe it. So let's go again. Yeah, so basically you can just position the crosshairs sort of in the middle of the screen, wait for things to come into view of the crosshairs and hit them, because nothing hurts you. The only way you can get a game over is by running out of ammo. So actually what you can do is nothing and just sit and watch the ride go round, which I'm just going to do for a moment, because yeah, I actually quite like the rendition of the coaster. I mean, it should have a longer train really, but it looks like a pretty sort of reasonable wooden coaster. It's got some very tight turns. You'd probably hurt yourself on those turns, but you know, it moves quite quickly. It's got some drops, it's got some uphill bits as well. It's not a very realistic coaster layout, but it's not that bad actually. And the first person view at the bottom recreates what you see on that overhead view reasonably well as well. So you know, it's alright. It's just that basically they've programmed this sort of roller coaster simulation and then didn't put much of a game in it, it has to be said. So I'm just going to sit and watch this, because basically you can just watch the coaster go round, and eventually it gets to the end of the ride. I'm a bit dubious about how long this coaster is. You don't get many coasters this long in reality, but yeah, it kind of weaves around, does its thing, and eventually you'll get to the end of it somewhere along the line. That looked like a break in the track there. That looked dangerous. Wow, there we go, it's come to a halt, and basically you've completed the level. You complete the level and you move on to the next level, because you can't die. You can only die by losing all your bullets, so it's quite easy. You can literally just watch the game and complete it. So we've got to load the next level in now, so let's do that and see how it turns out. Right, so the next level's loaded. It says press the key to continue. The password, by the way, AAAGGG, not very imaginative, so I think I could remember that if I ever wanted to go through and play it again from the start. So let's see how we get on here. Okay, it's what's happening. Oh, we're going. So I'm going to try and play it a bit more seriously this time. So we've got UFOs flying around again. Nothing shoots at you, so all you've got to do is keep shooting and make sure you don't run out of ammo. So obviously I've talked about the fact it moves quite nicely. Graphics are pretty simple, but the look of the coaster track and the coaster car is pretty nicely done. The enemy graphics are just things like shapes that move around, different shapes, you know, circles and squares and things like that. Again, they look okay, but they're nothing special. It's got some sound effects, which is basically just shooting noises and some explosion kind of noises when you hit stuff, which I seem to be struggling to do with this one. Oh, come on. Finally, yeah, so there's like a explosion noise, so you get like a wave of enemies, and until you've dispatched them all you don't get any more enemies, so you can just watch the same wave of enemies as you go around. So yeah, I don't know, I can't really tell if this coaster track layout is any different to the last one. It doesn't, I mean it probably is, but it's nothing significantly different. I'm not really sure why it needed to load another level off the tape, because you'd think a decent programmer could fit this all into one load, really, given how simplistic it is. Obviously the actual layout of the track and everything, and rendering the track and the first person view takes some programming knowledge and skill probably, but once you've done one you'd think doing a different track would be very similar, so I'm not sure why it needs another load. But yeah, so again you can just sit and watch the ride, which is actually more fun than the shooting, to be perfectly honest. So there you go, now I'm loading Aliens, so let's see how that goes. Okay then, level 3 is loaded, so let's have a look at it. More of the same, I'm imagining. Yeah, spherical aliens spinning around and some other colourful things like medals, really, those things. But yeah, I mean it doesn't really get any harder, because basically you don't have to do anything at all. You can just sit and watch and just hope something falls into your crosshairs eventually. So yeah, it's quite a dull game. I feel like they came up with a good idea, which is we can simulate the look of a roller coaster, and they did that quite well, but then they couldn't think of a good game to go with it. And I actually think if they put a track designer in this, it would have made it more fun than an actual game. If they basically just made it a roller coaster simulator where you could design the track layout and maybe the colour of the cars or something like that, and then just watch it in action, it probably would be more fun than this game, which is really very average indeed. I mean it's not really hard. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it. It's just shoot stuff on a roller coaster. But yeah, watching the roller coaster ride is much more fun than actually playing it. So I don't know, do I carry on? I don't know how many stages there are. Carry on and load another one after this maybe, just to see how it looks. But yeah, I've just replenished all my bullets then, so it's not even hard to hit these things for the most part. You just need to work out the sort of flow of the enemies. And eventually you get to the end anyway, as I said, so I'm just repeating myself now. So yeah, I think I'll load one more in and then that'll probably do. In terms of whether I'm going to keep this game, no, I don't think so. I mean, I was definitely interested in playing it because I'm a fan of roller coasters and a fan of Commodore 64 games, so it was an intriguing title. But yeah, it's pretty poor, and knowing that it can fetch quite a reasonable price, it's fairly, well, I don't know if it's desirable, I'll find out if I put it up for sale, but it's certainly quite rare. So okay, we're now loading coffee, so we'll see how the coffee level looks and then we'll probably call it a day, I think. So yeah, in terms of whether I'm going to keep it or not, no, I'm not going to keep it. I'd rather sell it, I think, and get the money back that I paid for it, hopefully. So let's look at one last level, and they're all the same, except for the design of the enemy sprites is slightly different on each one. Even just changing the background a bit might have helped, but I feel like I'm going around this one slower than the other ones for some reason. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to shoot away. I'm not going to worry about failing the level because we've seen enough, I think. Interesting idea for sure, and definitely pretty well programmed, I would say. It's just not a very good game, is it? It's just a missed opportunity, I think it's be fair to say. Like I said, if they'd made an actual coaster layout creator instead, I think that would have been better, although I don't know whether it would have sold anymore. There we go, I've run out of bullets on that corner, and that's game over. Game over a lot. It says game over a lot, and then it bounces game over around, and after all that effort I got 775 points. Wow. So yeah, let's put my name in, and I think that will do. So that was Rollercoaster Rumbler. If you've got any thoughts about this game, then let me know in the video comments. As always, thanks very much for watching, and let's now choose another game to play in the next edition of Witchfinder's Gaming Vault. That's another game review completed then, and that means it's time to draw another game at random out of this tin. I've now got more non-Commodore 64 games than Commodore 64 games in the pot, so let's see what we come out with. Doesn't mean I won't pick another C64 one though. So let's have a look what we've got, and it is In the Hunt, which is a Sega Saturn game, conversion of an arcade game. So not a Commodore 64 game for a change. I haven't plugged my Sega Saturn in for years. I hope it still works. So there you go, I'll be playing In the Hunt next time around. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.